A U.S. airstrike killed the world's most violent and deadliest terrorist of the last 20 years on Thursday night, but in the eyes of 2020 Democratic candidates and lefty celebrities, the only important takeaway from this American victory is that President Trump is bad. Trump's authorization of the killing of Iranian Revolutionary Guard terrorist leader Qasem Soleimani is a vindication for the thousands of wounded veterans, many with missing limbs from Soleimani's IED attacks, and the families of U.S. service members Soleimani killed. Soleimani approved the Tuesday attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad and was plotting to kill more Americans. He was a central connection between Iran and terrorist organizations, including Lebanon's Hezbollah and Palestinian Hamas. Yet some Democrats find it difficult to celebrate his death, despite the fact that Soleimani's death will save American lives. Sen. Cory Booker said on MSNBC it is Trump who is making the world less of a safe place. Within an hour of the news of Soleimani's death on Thursday, Booker appeared on CNN asserting that Trump has had really a failure in his Iranian policy. Although it was President Obama who shipped $150 billion in cash to Iran, emboldening terrorists like Soleimani, Booker is convinced that, under the Trump administration, Iran has become more influential and more dangerous. Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, released a statement bemoaning that serious questions about how this decision was made. Statement from Pete Buttigieg on killing of Qasem Soleimani, pic.twitter.com/9K2Sapu6, Chrismar, @Chrismar, January 3, 2020. From the sound of Buttigieg's promise to ask the hard questions as president, it seems as if he might have bypassed killing Soleimani given the chance, thus allowing the potential deaths of more Americans at Soleimani's hands. Additionally, Buttigieg insinuates that Trump's decision without congressional authority was unlawful. This is false. As David French pointed out on Twitter, because American troops are lawfully in Iraq, the airstrike was duly authorized, justified, and in no need of congressional authorization. Democratic presidential candidates and Sens. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders also bypassed this opportunity to praise Trump for the successful takeout of the world's most dangerous terrorist, and instead focused only on ginning up concern that Trump has started World War III in Iran. In a tweet, Warren wailed, "Now he's assassinated a senior foreign military official," as if this was the assignation of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and not of a terrorist who was actively targeting the United States and has himself authorized an act of war against the United States in supporting the attack on a U.S. embassy. Donald Trump ripped up an Iran nuclear deal that was working. He's repeatedly escalated tensions. Now he's assassinated a senior foreign military official. He's been marching toward war with Iran since his first days in office, but the American people won't stand for it. Elizabeth Warren, @eWarren, January 3, 2020. Sanders opted to ignore the news of the drone strike completely, and to instead talk about his past anti-war protests and to assure his supporters he would prevent the non-existent war in Iran. "I was right about Vietnam. I was right about Iraq. I will do everything in my power to prevent a war with Iran. I apologize to no one." pic.twitter.com/LNA3obzumkb, Bernie Sanders, @SenSanders, January 3, 2020. Watching Sanders' Senate Hall video, one would think Trump had indeed just declared war in Iran. In fact, just the opposite is true. As Daniel McCarthy writes in The Spectator, Donald Trump was elected to put Washington's emphasis back on the well-being of Americans, rather than on the imperial politics of the Middle East. A war with Iran would be a betrayal of his mandate, a war that would lead to other wars and more prolonged occupation of the region. A targeted retaliatory strike is not the same as war. It could in fact prevent it by raising the stakes in Iran's continued challenge to U.S. interests. Former Vice President Joe Biden also released a statement full of false claims. "My statement on the killing of Qasem Soleimani." pic.twitter.com/4q9talafb, Joe Biden, @Joe Biden, January 3, 2020. Biden says Trump owes Americans its strategy and plan to keep safe our troops and embassy personnel. This is odd considering the killing of Soleimani will quite literally save the lives of troops and Americans in the embassies Soleimani had planned attacks on. In comparison, the Obama-Biden administration responded to attacks on a U.S. embassy and the death of a U.S. ambassador by lying about what had happened and arresting a YouTuber who after imprisonment ended up in a homeless shelter for exercising his free speech. Biden claims Trump's goal of deterring future attacks from Iran certainly will have the opposite effect. As John Davidson writes in The Federalist, Trump hasn't started a war with Iran. Rather, it means the United States has recognized and responded to conflict that's been going on for some time now, and that Iran has fueled. If anything, the Soleimani strike might well prevent the outbreak of a new Mideast war that was looking increasingly inevitable after 8 years of the Obama administration's feckless foreign policy. Another 2020 Democrat candidate, Sen. Amy Klobuchar, falsely claimed Trump had acted without congressional authority. pic.twitter.com/khjndkv65v. Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar, January 3, 2020. Not only did Democrats dismiss the fact that no man on earth was more directly responsible for the deaths of American soldiers, I would be remiss to leave out the outspoken leftist celebrities who undoubtedly had never heard of Qasem Soleimani before Thursday. In a puzzling tweet featuring an Iranian flag with emojis on it, actress Rose McGowan said Americans are actually the ones being held hostage by a terrorist regime. Dear 52% of us humbly apologize. We want peace with your nation. We are being held hostage by a terrorist regime. We do not know how to escape. Please do not kill us. Thanks a lot, dickhead at Real Donald Trump. Rose McGowan, at Rose McGowan, January 3, 2020. Actor John Cusack tweeted the insightful analysis that attacking Iran is bad because the country is not like anywhere else. Trump in full fascist 101 mode, steal and lie, until there's nothing left. And start a war. He's so idiotic he doesn't know he just attacked Iran and that's not like anywhere else. John Cusack, at John Cusack, January 3, 2020. Reactions from Democrats were more than predictable, given how Trump derangement syndrome has plagued their minds since 2016. But when American lives have clearly been saved and other lives already lost are clearly avenged by this terrorist's death, it's disappointing that not one Democrat could give the Trump administration some credit without fear-mongering about World War III. Let's block ads. Why?